Welcome back to Andersen Acres. If you've ever kept goats, or honestly, any kind of livestock, you know that predators are not a maybe someday problem. They are a right now problem. The dogs are playing behind me. They think it's great. There's the horse. So, we live in bear country, and I can tell you there's no such thing as a truly predator-proof enclosure, especially for goats. You can make it harder for something to get in, sure, but if they want in badly enough, they're going to try. And if they're bears, they'll probably succeed. So today we're talking about how to keep your goats safe from predators while Tequila barks, because that's part of our safety system here. But we're going to talk about how to keep your goats safe from predators. And I'll walk you through what we've tried, what works short term, and the long-term solution that's been the ultimate game changer for us here on the farm. Okay, so let's get started. Now, the first thing to know is that predators are smart. Okay, they are wicked smart, and they're persistent. And sometimes they're bolder than you think. Whether you're dealing with coyotes or foxes, raccoons, wolves, bears, they see goats as a free buffet. Okay? I'm not trying to scare you. Well, maybe a little bit, but I'm not really trying to scare you. But it's important to go into goat ownership with your eyes open. It's not just about keeping your goats in the enclosure. It's about keeping the predators out, about safeguarding the lives of your flock, your herd. That's your job when you take them in. Here comes Tequila again. So let's start with fencing, because fencing matters. It's your first and most obvious and most visible line of defense. Okay? Goats are great escape artists. We all know that. We don't even try with her. She's obviously outside the fence. It's not designed for her. But a fence that can hold in a goat is not automatically a fence that will keep out a predator. For predator deterrence, you want something really tall, really strong, something that is hard to climb or difficult to squeeze through. The height needs to be at least 4 feet for most predators, but if you have something bigger like coyotes or any kind of wildcat like cougars, like bobcats, like lynx, you have to go like 5-6 feet minimum. There's chickens over there. The dogs are playing with the horse for no good reason. So you're also going to want to watch what material you make your fence out of, especially the wire. You want to make sure you are using woven wire instead of welded wire. Welded wire can break under pressure. That pressure might come from your own animals, like your goats, but it also might come from predators. Large predators can break a welded wire, so go for woven if you can find it. Also, you need to bury or skirt at your edges, okay? Because if you have digging predators like foxes or dogs, if these are a problem in your area, then you're going to want to make sure that either you bury your fence at least a foot underground, or you skirt your fence to deter digging at the edges of the fence. A fox isn't going to start digging 5 feet away to dig a tunnel. He's going to come right up to the edge of the fence and try to dig down. If you have a skirt that comes out a couple of feet of wire, he's going to encounter that wire and not be able to get under it. Okay? They're smart. They're not geniuses. So bury the edges or skirt. Also, look into electric options. A hot wire at the top and bottom of your fence can add another level of protection, another level of nope for curious predators. So you want to try that as well. It won't work for everything. We live in bear country. Electric does not deter a determined bear. Okay, there's a reason why zoos use tall, thick glass enclosures that can't be climbed. There's a reason a lot of the enclosures are like that. It's mainly because electric is simply not going to work for a lot of bears. It deters some of the younger bears, sure. The bigger ones, No. Good fencing is your baseline, but here's the thing. It's not foolproof. It's especially not bear-proof. No fencing is bear-proof that you're going to put up on your farm. You're not going to invest $100,000 in bear-proof fencing. So let's talk about other things you can do to continue to deter predators. First of all, there are temporary and supplemental solutions. So before you have trained livestock guardians, when you're first doing your animals, you realize predators are a problem and you're like, oh no, what do? I don't have trained livestock guardians and I can't wait 2 years for the livestock guardians to get up to snuff. What are you going to do? So you have to come up with a solution. And maybe you can't even have livestock guardians. Maybe there are a plethora of reasons why you can't. So there are still things you can do for making life harder for the predators. Consider motion lights. Predators often prefer darkness and quiet, so a bright light flipping on can startle them and make them second guess approaching. It won't work forever, but for a temporary solution, it will work. So give that a shot. The dogs are giving a chicken what for because he was chasing a hen, which is always entertaining. So, what about human voices? Human voices do work. Believe it or not, a radio playing talk shows or podcasts can make predators think there are people around. And most predators don't want to hang out where the people are. They don't like people. They like to get their meals unattended. So, for a temporary solution, sticking a radio in your backyard and turning it on with people talking, not music, especially not music without words. You want talk shows. You want play an audiobook or something like that. Put Bluetooth speakers and have an audiobook running, something like that. Try something like that. It'll work better than music. Music doesn't work great. Again, it won't be super long before they figure that one out, but it'll happen eventually. So figure out what you're going to do after that stops working. Then you can try patrolling yourself. So if you see or hear predator activity, you can suit up and go check, okay? Whether that means a flashlight, an air horn, or something a little more persuasive. Your presence sends a strong message. Not today, coyotes. However, if you're wondering why there's so much bird activity right now, it's that Tristan is getting the food. So they're all reporting for snacks. Anyway. So, you patrolling is good. You can't be there 24/7. Okay? And they will figure out your routine eventually. So again, short-term solution. But it'll work in the short term. Right? You get out there and you make sure those animals are protected. Because if you don't have any other option, then you have to do it yourself. So you do what you can, right? Also, you can use visual deterrents. Think of reflective tape or scarecrows can work. Predator eye lights. They look like little predator heads and they have these glowing, flashing eyes. They can help. They're not perfect, but they can buy you time. Okay? And when I say they're not perfect, I mean they will stop working at some point. Not the device, but the predators will get used to them. So again, it's a short-term solution. Okay? But it'll buy you time. A time to come up with a more permanent solution. Time to build a better fence. Time to figure out if you can do something else. Because here's the truth. Here's the truth. Chickens are loud. But here's the truth. There's no such thing as 100% predator-proof goat enclosure. You can make it really good. You can make it really hard. But if a bear, coyote, or mountain lion wants your goats, it will try. That's why relying on fencing and gadgets alone is a constant game of what's next. Who's going to get them? Who's going to try today? So that brings me to our long-term solution, the livestock guardian dogs. You've seen them a couple times in the background of this video. So, livestock guardian dogs, or LGDs. are the single most effective predator deterrent we've ever used here at Andersen Acres. Why? Because they can be out here all the time if they want to be. Ours can go wherever they want. They can come in the house, go outside. They can march out here day or night. They can sleep out here. They can patrol the property. They can do whatever they need to do to handle the predators. So they're more effective than you are. Okay? That's just a fact. They are more effective than you are. And I say that with love. I am glad you want to protect your flock. They're better at it than you are. An LGD is not just a pet. It's a working partner. We're not talking like golden retrievers and German shepherds. Think Great Pyrenees or Anatolian shepherds, Maremas, Kengels. These guys have been bred for centuries to protect livestock. They don't just bark at predators. They live with their animals, their goats, their chickens, their mini horse. They work hard to bond to them. They protect them. They patrol the territory their animals live in to keep them as safe as they can. So why does this work? First of all, you have a 24-hour presence. Predators learn very quickly that the animals are never alone. There's always going to be somebody there. Okay. And then there's the instinct. They have the kind of instincts we never will. They are bred to guard. They don't need to be taught or to care about the safety of the herd. They need to be guided when they're young. There is some training involved, but their instincts are something you can't teach. Okay? They have it naturally. And they are a humongous deterrence. The mere scent and sound of an LGD is often enough to keep predators away. So just their presence, even if they're not the quickest, just their scent can be enough. But they're not for everyone. Before you run out and get one of these dogs, know that LGDs are not like other farm dogs, okay? They need space and they need to be with animals full time. They need to have something to protect. They require training and commitment. They're not couch potatoes. And if you're in a suburban neighborhood, they might not be an option for you. But if you can have them and you're willing to work with them, they can change the entire predator equation for your goats. When it comes to predator protection for goats, it's all about layers, okay? So I wouldn't rely on just one thing. Start with good fencing. Add lights. Add sound. Add patrols from you. Add your livestock guardian dogs. If you have these different layers, your herd will be safer every step of the way, okay? Now, we live in bear country. So I'm never going to say any enclosure is predator proof. You will not hear that come out of my mouth because we live in bear country and we know better. Okay. But our livestock guardian dogs have saved us more times than I can count, or more accurately, saved her and our chickens and our horse. So that's about it for me here today at Andersen Acres. If you've dealt with predator problems or you have some great predator prevention tips, I would love to hear them. Drop them in the comments below and we can all learn from each other. Thanks for watching and we'll see you tomorrow.